Welcome to the Business and Bubbly podcast. This is the place for women in business who are on the journey of building their big ideas and want to have fun along the way. It's for those of us who also know we aren't meant to do business or life alone. Hi, I'm Charity Majors, your host and the founder of Business and Bubbly. Think of this kind of like the can I pick your brain chats that you've always wanted to have with those who are doing epic things, plus business besties, hype girls, and getting into massive action towards your next big idea all in the same place. Oh, and bubbles, because if you're not having fun along the way, you're not doing it right. Together, we'll unlock what it means to be seen, known, heard, and championed all along the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and being a woman in business building big dreams. Each week, I'll bring you a quick sip business tip, as well as interviews from top experts that make you feel like you're getting bottle service for your business. We're having the raw and real conversations and chatting about all the things, the messy middle, the pivots, scaling, the good days and the bad days, because here we do real. It's where we can work hard, play hard, cry it out, and dance it out all at the same time without being judged. This is a place where we are in the arena together and we are each other's biggest fans because most of us have enough comments from the cheap seats. It's where our too much is par for the course and where the gaps of our not enough are filled in by the other epic women that are around us. It's where we can be unapologetic about the mission we are on, about the big dreams on our heart, and the business we are building without having to be perfect or have it all together, or even pretend to. It's a supportive community where business is being done amongst like-minded women, because when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. It's a place where you have the support around you to get out of your comfort zone and go after your big ideas, because even when you fail forward or when you reach the top, you know it won't be alone. Also, if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm obsessed with creating platforms that lift up other women to be seen and heard and known. So with that in mind, I'd like to invite you to list your business on our directory called Find Women in Business. All you've got to do is text the word directory to 833-231-8098, and I'll text you the link back to get your free listing. This is also a great way to connect with other women in business from around the world, so definitely check it out. And now let's get to the good stuff. Grab a glass of your favorite beverage, Prosecco, bubbly water, or whatever your flavor is, and let's dive in. Are you with me? Here we go. Hey Biz BFF, I'm your host Charity Majors. Welcome to the show. And today's episode is what we like to call a quick sip. So this is just kind of a quick little episode, like you get in, get out. Today's thought is actually all about the cost of community that nobody really talks about. And as a community builder for myself and for you, maybe you're building a community, maybe you're building an audience, maybe you have customers that are part of your community, right? You're with your products or your services. Maybe you're, a mom and you just are like, you have little people around you and that's building a community. And I actually want to talk about this because it's not only is like real time for me, but it just is this thought that, like I said, that nobody really talks about the cost of what it looks like to this specific cost of what it looks like to build community. And if you are building community like me, obviously with Business and Bubbly, like we have networking groups that are, that happen in person. We're actually kicking off our brand new virtual chapter that's happening, which is super exciting. And if you are listening to this, and maybe if you're not necessarily plugged into one of our local chapters, and you could actually benefit from global connections from other modern women in business, and I actually want to invite you to join us in our virtual chapter, which is super exciting. So all you have to do is go to virtual.businessandbubbly.com. Jump on. We meet on the third Thursday of every month on Zoom, and we just have a really great time connecting. Would love to invite you to come join us. But like I said, today's episode, we're going to chat a little bit about this cost. Okay. Now it might not necessarily be what you're thinking about as far as like, right, like cost of goods and services and the profit and loss margin and how much is this thing going to cost me and that type of a thing. This is a little bit more of kind of a heart conversation. And it's kind of, like I said, it's coming from this genuine place of that building community is costly, right? And like I said, it's not this profit and loss margin. It's not this, okay, well, I have to like put in this much money and I'm getting this much out type of a thing. This is actually the cost that as a founder, as a community builder for me, that it costs my heart to genuinely love and care for the women that come in and out of our community. Now, for whatever reason, obviously we are dealing with people. So whether you have products or services, you've got customers, you've got an audience, you've got people around you. For me as a community builder, we've got people around us, right? And we can't expect to have everyone stay with us for forever, right? That's a little unhealthy, right? Maybe a little codependent if you don't think that people are going to just kind of come in and out, right? So some people are kind of in it, like the ride or dies, like they're in it for the long haul. Like some people, like I like to think of like relationships or even just customers or just people that come in and out of your life, like a garden, right? Like some people are annuals, right? They like are just going to like keep coming back year after year after year after year, which is awesome. And other people are kind of like perennials, right? They're there for just a season. And this is kind of the cost of what it looks like to genuinely love your community and to genuinely love your customers and to genuinely know and trust that they are doing what's best for them, even as much as you want them to stick around with you for forever, right? So for me, be this community builder, being a chapter director, I have to know that when I'm doing my job well, is it actually costs me something. Right? It costs me me genuinely loving and caring, like fully, wholeheartedly, like unapologetically, every single woman that comes into our doors, every single woman that comes into our virtual chapters, into our online chapters, into our in-person chapters, every director that I work with, every single woman that comes in that is in front of me that I come in contact with, that I genuinely love her, support her, want the best for her, want to see her business thrive, want to see her friendships thrive, want to see her heart, her soul thrive, right? Like I have to genuinely want that. And I to know that and to genuinely want that, I also have to be able to allow that love to flow freely, whatever room she's in. Okay. So here's an example. So we had, over the last year and a half that we have had Business and Bubbly and here in Boise, we've had some of our OGs, like our ride or dies that have been around for a really long time, which is amazing. And just recently, a few of them, one girl got super, super booked. So she was like, I need to take a break from our Sip and Socials. I'm like just having appointments and can't even come because I'm like so booked, which I'm like genuinely happy for her. Like that's what we want. Well, I mean, that's what we want, right? Like her business to be so booked, like as booked as she wants. And right, so she's like taking a break from Sip and Socials. We had another girl who she was doing some coaching and some retreats, and then she actually stopped her business to take a break, to do some mom stuff, to really focus in on her family and to launch a nonprofit. And so she stopped her membership. We had another girl, she was going through some health stuff, so she paused her membership, right? So it was like these women that I genuinely have come to know and to love and to like see them thrive and to they like walk through the door and I'm like, yes, like my girls are here. Like so fun to see them, right? Like as they have taken different, like as life has happened and as they step into different seasons of their life, whether it's with life or business or health or family or whatever that might mean, I don't get to see them as much. Right. And so for me, selfishly, I'm like, oh, like my friends, like I'm gonna miss them. But I also know, well, first of all, that we can hang out like outside of Sip and Socials, right? But second of all, like I know that I'm doing my job well as a founder and as a community builder because I genuinely love these women. Like it's costing me something when they leave or when they, step away or when they take a break. And so my encouragement for you is to know that maybe like maybe you've had a client for a while, or maybe you've had a customer for a while, and maybe all of a sudden you see them, like, like you haven't seen them in a while, or they haven't purchased your thing in a while, or whatever that might look like for you. Know that you're actually doing a really good job when it hurts a little, like when it costs you something. Because God forbid, like the women that come into Business and Bubbly, that come into our Sip and Socials, that come into our culture, that they become just another name, another email address, another person that came through the door that purchased a ticket, another ticket holder, right? Like, God forbid I ever get to that place, because that means it's not costing me something. That means I'm not doing my job well and genuinely loving and caring and supporting and wanting the best for our women, right? So that's the cost that I kind of wanted to talk about today. Is it's not, like I said, it's not the goods and services, like it's not the money that's exchanged that's costly, which that happens too as a, as a community builder, as a woman in business. Like, yeah, like we got to pay for some things, like your website and your funnels and copywriters and assistants and whatever it is that you're paying for in your business. But the cost that I'm talking about today is that heart cost. And when it does cost you something, that means that you're doing your job well. And for me, it was just that reminder that even though it hurt, even though I don't get to see some of my girls on a regular basis at our Sip and Socials, which is like the most fun thing, I know that I'm doing my part because it costs me something. And that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. So maybe you are listening to this and you are seeing the different places where you have invested in people and it has cost you something. And you're okay with that. And you're okay with saying, you know what, I'm okay with fully showing up and loving on people. And I want to be a community builder too. And I want to be able to fully love and support women unapologetically. Then you might be a really good fit for a chapter director in your area. And we are actually opening up applications for women who know they're meant to lead from the front of the room. Right? So maybe you are a woman in your area who is, you're that expert, you're that leader, you are known in your community. Maybe you're a micro influencer. Maybe you are we have one of our chapter directors. She jokes that she's like, I'm like the unofficial mayor of this. Right? She knows everyone. She is the connector. She loves to support women in business. She's in the groups and she's meeting the people and she's doing the things. But she really wanted to move from being involved to being influential. She wanted to move from being just in the room to leading the room. And there is a difference, right? There is a difference. And so, like I said, we have officially opened up our applications for chapter directors in your local area. So if you are hearing this and maybe you're like, gosh, I know I meant to lead from the front of the room. I know I want to lead community. I know that I want to genuinely, right? Like I just said, it's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you, you got to love and support these girls. You got to love on them, whether or not they stay or go, you got to love them. And if you are ready to count that as a cost, and here's the kicker, which I love, is that when we with chapter directors, how I actually created this is it doesn't take away from your current business, right? Because for me, I actually had a different business before I started Business and Bubbly, and I'm a mom and I'm doing all the things and I love hanging out with my husband and date night and right, we have a life outside of this. And so when I created Business and Bubbly, when I specifically created and curated our Sip and Socials and our connection pieces and how it's put together in the blueprint for it, it's actually is not meant to take away from your current business. It's meant to actually thrust your current business forward because you are now leading from the front of the room. But here's the kicker, is that you don't have to do it alone, right? So for me as an entrepreneur, it was always okay, I've got this new idea and this new thing, and I know I'm called to lead from the front of the room, but now I got to create all the things from brand new and all the things from scratch, right? All the branding and all the websites and all the funnels and all the new things and all the content and all the stuff, right? And that can take a while. But here's the thing, as a chapter director, what's really fun is that you basically get blueprints and content and like replicated websites that convert and copywriting that converts and content that converts, like an audience into happy customers, an audience into a community. And that's what being a chapter director is all about. Like you get to lead. Again, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost your heart to love these women, but you get to lead a community of women, and it actually will boost your other business, your main business that you have, while allowing Business and Bubbly to fit just within like the pockets of your time as you build community. So if this sounds like something that you are interested in, then I actually want you to head over to businessandbubbly.com. You'll see down at the bottom of the page where it says apply to be a chapter director. You're smart. You'll find it. You'll figure out the link, like apply to be a chapter director. I would love to actually personally talk to you to see if you are going to be a good fit in your area. Again, just go to businessandbubbly.com. You'll see the link where it says apply to be a chapter director. And I would love to connect with you and to see if not only if you're willing to like pay the price, right? Like pay the cost of your heart of loving and supporting and building this community. But if you are actually called to lead from the front of the room, you know, you're called to be more influential, you know, you're called to make income. Like this is actually a really profitable model, which is so fun. Like I love seeing other women make lots of money. So it's really fun. You're going to grow your income. You're going to grow your influence in your area. You're going to quickly become one of the most connected and referred women in your area as you lead from the front of the room with a Business and Bubbly, with the model that we have, with the chapter that we have, with the blueprints that we have, with the content that we have, the cute branding that we have. Like if you're listening to this, you know, you love it. You know, you're like, okay, I need this modern woman in business type thing, right? Because I've been in other rooms with the salty salesman and the bad 30-second stories, and I'm not about that, right? Like you want to serve modern women in business and you want it to be cute, right? Okay. So if this is you, go to businessandbubbly.com, find the button that says apply to be a chapter director. And I would love to talk to you because applications are open and we are excited to bring the culture to other areas. We are excited. We've got 3 going on 5 chapters pretty soon. We've got our virtual chapter kicking off, and this thing is exploding because women are seeing the difference. They're seeing the difference of what it feels like to be a part of Business and Bubbly. They're seeing the difference. They're feeling the difference of what it looks like to actually do life and business together with modern women in business and not necessarily like salty salesmen that are doing business like they have been doing since 1990, right? So, okay, you get the gist. Come hang out. If you want to lead from the front of the room and go from being involved to influential and going from just being in the room to actually leading the room, then being a chapter director could be for you. But again, like this episode, it's going to cost you. And it's the best cost possible because the women that you work with, the women that you lead, the community that you build, they are absolutely worth it. Just like the women that are in our local chapter here that I have the honor of serving and leading, they are absolutely worth it. They're worth the cost to love. They're worth the cost to invest in. They are worth the cost of, even if they leave, that I have loved them well. They're worth it. So are you, and so are the women that you could potentially lead as well. All right, my friend, have an incredible day. As always, cheers to your success. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to the show. I hope it brought some value and some fun into your business and life. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, and even share the episode with a fellow business bestie who you know will love it. It helps us continue to attract top-level guests and reach more and more women who are on their journey in business just like you. Remember that when money gets in the hands of good women, great things happen. Cheers to your success.